this is Jim Starkweather, the publisher of KitMaker Network, and welcome to a new type of video I'm going to try to do. It's going to be a little more than the typical cracking the box. I'm not sure how far I will carry the project forward, meaning I don't know whether I'm going to actually build the kit or not. But I'm going to do a more in-depth review. This time we're going to do one on the Dragon Scharnhorst, which is, I believe, a pocket battleship. I'm not 100% sure on that. I should have done my homework if I'm going to do more detailed reviews on something. So without further ado, let's get some background information on the Scharnhorst.
Scharnhorst was a German capital ship, alternatively described as a battleship and battlecruiser of Nazi Germany's Kriegsmarine. She was the lead ship of her class, which included one other ship, Gneisenau. The ship was built at the Kriegsmarine Wharf dockyard in Wilhelmshaven. She was laid down on June 15, 1935, and launched a year and 4 months later on October 3, 1936. Completed in January 1939, the ship was armed with a main battery of 9 28-centimeter, 11-inch guns in 3 triple turrets. Plans to replace these weapons with 6 38-centimeter, 15-inch guns in twin turrets were never carried out. The ship had a displacement of 32,100 tons, and fully loaded would carry 38,000. Her length was 234.9 meters, or 771 feet, and she had a beam of 30 meters, or 98 feet. Scharnhorst and Gneisenau operated together for much of the early portion of World War II, including sorties into the Atlantic to raid British merchant shipping. During her first operation, Scharnhorst sank the auxiliary cruiser HMS Rawalpindi in a short engagement. Scharnhorst and Gneisenau participated in Operation Weserübung, the German invasion of Norway. During operations off Norway, the two ships engaged the battlecruiser HMS Renown and sank the aircraft carrier HMS Glorious, as well as her escort destroyers Acosta and Ardent. In that engagement, Scharnhorst achieved one of the longest-range naval gunfire hits in history. In early 1942, after repeated British bombing raids, the two ships made a daylight dash up the English Channel from occupied France to Germany. In early 1943, Scharnhorst joined the Bismarck-class battleship Tirpitz in Norway to interdict Allied convoys to the Soviet Union. Scharnhorst and several destroyers sortied from Norway to attack a convoy. The Germans were instead intercepted by British naval patrols. During the Battle of North Cape, the Royal Navy battleship HMS Duke of York and her escorts sank Scharnhorst. Only 36 men were pulled from the icy seas out of a crew of 1,968.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the little bit of information there on the Scharnhorst, German battleship. This is obviously, again, the Dragon kit, which was just recently released in 1/350th scale. We're going to go ahead and do the kind of typical unboxing that I do, and I will be pointing out various different things on the ship as I see them. And then we'll go ahead and take a closer look at the parts and the plastic that's included with the kit via photos and other commentary and so forth. And then I'll follow it up with whatever more I can do. We'll just leave it as a little bit of a tease there.
All right, well, let's get on with the unboxing of the Scharnhorst. This is the 1941 issue, obviously, or period for the ship. And the box is obviously quite big. It's being captured pretty well here with my GoPro session in wide-angle mode. I'm sure you're noticing a little bit of the curvature and so forth. So yeah, it's a pretty long box. They do have a lot of detail shots on the side of the box showing off various bits of the model. There's just basically a lot of detail. This is what I would definitely call a modern updated kit in terms of what's included, and we'll get more into that obviously as we go along. So there's a nice shot of some of the main gun turrets, and they even have some of the 1/350th scale Arado AR-196 seaplanes. And that looks pretty nice for a 1/350th scale plane. All right, let's go ahead and crack her open. And let's go ahead and basically go through a quick parts count here. Got 2 large sprues here with the upper decks and forward and rear decks, and some of the upper superstructure decks and stacks and various things. Notice this stack, for example, is in one piece, which is very nice. Obviously that part was slide molded out through the mold this way. And then the hull, of course, which is in a kind of a two-piece arrangement. I mean, there's the full hull, bottom hull, as you can see here, and then these upper hull structure bits, which I'm trying to see how they fit in, but well, that's the base. Actually, never mind. This piece right here, which it goes on top of this one. Some grooves on the side here, but I don't see. I guess those are just guides. So yeah, basically you've got this upper hull and this way, obviously. But we'll get those out of the plastic and get a better look at them. This is definitely the base. Yeah, I don't know why I was getting a little just whatever. Just watched the last episode of Wallander and it's like, hopefully I'm not gonna go crazy and lose my memories in my old age, but sometimes my brain does seem a bit more befuddled after you get to 50 and over. So a package of obviously the decals and some of the photo etch. Another part here that looks potentially slide molded, although I'm not seeing why it would need to have been. I guess, yeah, but it looks like it's got all the angled sprue pieces in here that usually indicate a slide molded piece. The actual main gun turrets and guns and everything going together in that one or three sprues actually on that one. And then another one with some of the smaller secondary guns and gun barrels, and again all in 2 sprues there. Another set of 2 with some of the various captain's yachts and boats and lifeboats and all the things there, as well as some upper deck, looks like detail, maybe some of the communications gear. A kind of vinylish one with, I think, some of the canvassing that goes around the guns, which is very nice looking. Some clear and another plastic sprue here with some additional superstructure. Thanks, computer, for letting me know that something's going on. And again, more deck and other detailed bits. Some of the upper guns, anti-aircraft guns, things like that. And another 2 sprues with some of the superstructure, antenna, and other detail parts. And lastly, another piece which looks like it includes more superstructure bits. Additional, yeah, just a lot of basically superstructure parts. And then we have the manual, which we'll take a look at real quick. And a piece of plastic which doesn't look like it's anything. Kind of looks like a spare piece of plastic, but we'll go ahead and put that aside just in case. Alright, so in terms of the manual, you can see there are some unused parts on this. I guess I'm not up on Dragon German Battleship releases, so I assume they had a kit prior to this one that they had released, which had some of these parts, or was a sister ship, maybe. Hopefully I'll cover that in the about stuff, but maybe not. Alright, so again, kind of going the wrong way with this, but you can see the first things we're going through are a lot of the upper deck guns and the main turrets. Continuing on with the main turrets, again still turrets. Some of the plane launching rail, whatever that thing's called. Again, for those of you new to my videos, I'm not purporting to be an expert on German battleships. I do not know all the terms. I have built battleship models before, many years ago, before most of you were born. So, so yeah, the Arado going together here. You can see there's quite a few pieces, but it looks like a lot of detail there. Engine, cowling area, propellers, even a separate glass section for the cockpit. At least I assume that is clear. Maybe not though, because it's Q7, so maybe it's in the same bunch of parts. And then we have some of the deck, I believe, gun sighting systems. Again, more superstructure there. Continuing on with the remainder of the superstructure, lifeboats, captain's yachts, captain's yacht, I guess, with other boats, small boats. And then some of the detail going on to the deck, or the superstructure bit, I guess. But you can see there's a lot of parts in this. It's definitely going to be a considerable build for somebody to tackle this. But most 1/350th scale ships are, but obviously battleships have more bits in them than, say, 1/350th scale cruiser or destroyer. But obviously on par with maybe like a carrier in 1/350th scale. They do have paints and marking guide here, which looks like it's for Operation Westerburg. Sorry, I can barely read that. April 7th through 12th, 1940. So interesting, that's the 41 designation on the box, but then they have the markings as 1940. A little bit confusing. Wouldn't this then be the 1940 edition of the Scharnhorst? Because if they had made changes to the ship, then you would have used a later thing. I'm confused. I am a little confused on that. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look. Go ahead and take a look at some of these other parts, and then we'll get on with the build. All right. Well, I've taken the unusual step of unbagging everything in advance of doing the examination of said parts. So I know this is a shock for some of you that this can be done, but it can be done. It does take a little bit of, obviously, time and so forth. But yeah, if you guys like this, I potentially could do this on other videos. But obviously for this one, there was a lot of stuff to unbag, so it didn't seem right to even have any of those small bits where I'm basically wasting your and my time. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, so the hull. Let's move on back. Let's get back on track here. So we've got this nice two-piece hull. Let's see how well it goes together. Just kind of lining up the upper and lower. There's a back section here that's a production thing, I think, and so I can't quite, this bit has to be removed. I'm not sure if this was a pull-out or something, why it's there, but yeah, it is there. So I can't quite get the back section in there until I have that piece removed and sanded and so forth. But the front will snap into place. Let me get it back in there where it was before. And let me jog my camera around so to make it really hard to see. It's like I'm losing battery power quickly. So yeah, there's going to be some cleanup here. You can see definitely in this. Hopefully, I'm holding it steady enough there, but you can see, it's not a perfect fit. In fact, it feels a little definitely imperfect here. I mean, I'm just holding it in place, trying to get it forward far enough, or forward far enough. And I can definitely feel right here there's just a lot of difference between these two. This section's a lot higher and this section's lower. So some sanding and filling probably going to be required for that area. I hate to say. Not as well, no, it's still there on this side, but it's not quite as bad on this side. But yeah, I would have expected more from Dragon on that. And along the entire ship, it's better. I mean, I don't feel anything here. So I think, just that forward section that may be problematic. Yeah, there's a little bit of there's still a little bit here. Yeah, there's definitely can even see it right there. So, that's going to be an issue. I'm not sure why they didn't, obviously they wanted some structure and rigidity here, so it's going to make this whole hull section a lot stronger, having this, cross bracing here and having it all like this. But yeah, I'm sure that's going to be a bit of a project for some people to get this completely to their satisfaction. Not to say that that's not, not something we face with a lot of models, or especially ships. Getting the hull right is obviously kind of the thing to start with. But yeah, I'm a little surprised it just doesn't kind of fit more. It's such a large piece of plastic, I guess. Maybe 350th scale builders are going, of course, Jim, that's just normal. We're used to that. So, comment if that's the case, and I'll certainly appreciate that feedback. So going on, though, let's go to the next bit that obviously would be going into place, and that's the decks. And looking at the decks, they do have a very nice wood simulated deck finish. Getting Again, I'm not sure how much the camera's going to get at, so I'll try to get some photos in there to show that. There's the upper forward part of the deck where the chains go down for the anchors. And yeah, some nice detail there. The props or propellers, the screws. What are they called on ships? They still called, I know they're called screws on submarines, but I guess they're called screws on ships too, right? But they have lots of names. Ship parts have lots of names. You know, I'll blame the British because, you know, they gave names for this and names for that, and then we just didn't decide on one name. We had to call things a bunch of different things. No, actually, I don't blame the British for that at all. I'm just kidding. All right, well, that piece, what was that? It just fell off. Something just fell off. Was that piece? Did that pick up and then fall down? I thought it was something here. No? No, those are on pretty well. I don't know what that would have been. Did it fall on the floor? No, it didn't fall on the floor. Well, you guys probably saw where it went because it's on the video. But yeah, it just seemed to have disappeared. Maybe it was this. Anyways, all right. Moving on. So this, again, this nice smokestack here with the one-piece slide molded affair is very nice. The decking looks good. I mean, again, we have some light kind of surfacey material, almost like an anti-slip surface on these sections of the deck. You can see the kind of windmill pattern there for the, well, not windmill, but lined pattern there for the various gun batteries. And again, more of the standard wood decking material here. Some nice, again, nice structure, ribbing and so forth on that piece. And then did this piece here, which again had some nice slide molding parts. Some additional parts of stacks that are also done in a slide molded affair here, so one piece, and it looks good. And then this one, which is one of the big superstructure bits. And again, it looks like this piece was slide molded, so I guess because of this, it's just pulled out that way. I don't know. Yeah. Even after listening to Will's slide molding thing, I kind of get it, but then I look at pieces like this, and I'm like, well, I don't see anything that's like singular. But yeah, it looks like it, just from the construction of the sprue setup, it looks like it was definitely slide molded. I guess, oh, maybe because of these pieces, because there's an inset here. Yeah, must be. All right, then obviously this piece I should have separated into just one, but because there is more plastic than this actually. Obviously I left some of the duplicate pieces aside. So again, here's where these I think where some of these canvas bits are going to go onto these guns. Doesn't look like those holes are large enough in the rubber pieces, but hopefully that's not going to be an issue. Maybe those are for the smaller guns here. They definitely would fit in those. But again, these look nice. Very well detailed. And going back to this side, more superstructure bits. I'm only going to comment if I really see something that stands out. Obviously, you guys can see for yourself what most of these have on them. Well, I suppose it would be nice if I could move the deck, and that way the black material is behind it. Yay! A lot of small, look like gun mounts and various things for these really, really tiny bits. Same, more superstructured parts. Some of the smaller gun batteries, secondaries. But everything's really, really fine here. Be interesting to see these photos when I get the photos done, because I'm probably going to capture detail I didn't see it with my naked eye. The launches and stuff look really nice. Again, there's nice detail in here. What you'd expect for a modern kit that's 3/50th scale. Again, some nice lifeboat detail here with the ribbing inside the boats. Again, it's got lots of boats. The clear. I assume some of these are just spotlights and bridge glass and things like that. There's the Arado. So the Arado is in clear. That's why it didn't matter that the cockpit was part of the same group. And again, the canvas bits, which look like they have some nice folds and detail down in here. Of course, it looked like they were all duplicated from the same one. It would have been nice if they actually molded them slightly differently, but they didn't do that. Photo etch, which I won't pull out because I don't want to mess it up, but you can see lots of detail for the various gun parts. I can't tell if those are aiming circles or what those are, but lots of railing, chain, superstructure bits, radar array. I believe, did the ship have radar? And the decal sheet, which was pretty limited in terms of guides. This piece was folded, by the way, a little bit, and not majorly, but when I pulled it out, it definitely had a pretty big bend here. More railing, more large-ish superstructure or box parts. I'm not sure what those are going to create. And some really small ones here for railing, I guess, and other very, very small parts. Boy, if I were to tackle this kit, I have never done modern photo etch, so I don't even have a bender. So yeah, this would be, I mean, a lot of these parts don't require a lot of bending. They're just attached on somewhere, but this would be quite a project for me to try to do, considering I'd never even attempted anything like that. So, and then I'm not sure what this piece is, but it was in with the hulls, I believe. All right, well, let's go ahead and take a look at those photos, and then we'll come back for more. All right, well, I don't normally do this, as most of you know, but the Scharnhorst hull looked a bit off to me, and I maybe want to build this in the future, so I went ahead and started the kit, as I think I've intimated several times. And I've started to basically clean up these seam lines on the two-piece hull. And I've only gotten maybe about a quarter way into it, and basically you can kind of see here where I've filled and sanded along the seam line, which runs, you know, where my finger is right here. This is also in conjunction with where, for example, I know on at least on the sister ship, the red marking. You can see from the illustration, you know, the lower red below water section. And then the black line basically kind of runs along the seam line. So I'm not sure if all of the Scharnhorst's paint schemes would allow for that, but it didn't matter to me because, as I think I've shown in the previous bit of this video, it was just too much of a, too much of touchy-feely. You could run your fingernail across there and it would just catch. I've spent probably in total of about an hour, not including the filler drying and so forth, to get this sanded down to where I feel like, okay, well, I could primer this and maybe see then if it needs additional work. But so I just kind of wanted to include that in this portion of my normal preview type video, but this is obviously more of a little bit of a quasi-partial build, mainly to point out that if you are a bit anal like I am, and you're going to want this hull smooth, you're probably going to spend a decent amount of time cleaning this up, because as you can still see from the other side, and I'll try to put it in the camera so you see this right here, right? Actually, this is the problem with moving the finger. It's just there, so it's a little more pronounced in various parts of the ship. It's pretty, the sides are pretty easy. There is a noticeable, touchable difference between the heights there on the hull, but I've sanded this part, for example, on this side that I've cleaned up, so that's pretty good. But as you get back towards the aft of the ship, you start to see the line again where I haven't sanded. I haven't done anything. I've filled a little bit on the back here, but that was only some preliminary fill. And haven't really spent a lot of time sanding this portion yet. So anyways, and you got to be careful too, because some of there's an access hatch forward, and there's some what the hell are the windows called? The window round port things. I'm just like completely losing that word right now, even though it's been with me my entire life for like 40-something years, but now that word does not have a picture of one of the round windowy things, and it's got to have a label underneath it, right? Consult the internet. Portholes? Really? No wonder my brain was like, I think my childhood understanding of the word versus my adult brain was having a conflict. A porthole obviously goes back to Middle Ages or something like that, but the point is that that's not a very good name for a window, especially one that has a glass closey thing on it and stuff. They really need to come up with a modern word. A porthole is so old-fashioned. No wonder I couldn't get my brain around it or whatever. But my point, yes, be careful of those portholes, because they are definitely going to be, as you can see from the picture again off the Super Drawings in 3D series by Kat Garrow, You can see there on the front of the ship there. I think I've got that, yeah. So they are pretty close to that seam line. Anyways, so I just wanted to put this little segment in before I long delay to get this unboxing slash partial bit of a build done, and I'm having fun. Like, oh, it's nice and smooth now. I mean, I hope I haven't primered it, sanded, or I haven't filled and primered anything in a long time, but I think this feels right. The last thing I filled and primered was a car. So yeah, but that feels about right. So actually, that is a little bit rough down there. I might have to do a little bit something with that lower section. The dent or the ding in the hull of the upper section of the hull here seems a little bit pronounced. Like I'm looking at the picture of the ship, and I don't know. I don't see any visible. It's almost like, I don't know if you can see it, but let me see if I can get the camera lined up right to try to catch it. But it's like there's a little crease running like right here, and maybe that is historically something that was real, but it's definitely here. It's on the other side too. It just, I mean, you can actually see it in the fill. You see this small gap right there above my finger. That's where the crease is running, and the fill, when I sanded, actually, or the fill didn't get into the crease, basically, because of the, I was using like a business card or something to apply. This side hasn't actually been like completely filled and sanded, so you're seeing a little more pronounced here. So, but yeah, when I put the fill over, I used like a business card with the white squadron putty that I used. I used white squadron putty. Yes, there you go. Little brand plug. And so when I did that, you can see that it actually, it didn't quite get into this crease area here. You can actually kind of feel it. Yeah, you can definitely feel that's a little divot. I'm not sure. Maybe is it possible that they had something there to pull it out, and I wouldn't have been pulled out of the mold that way. It should have been pulled out of the mold via like a little tab here, and was probably pulled out straight. But anyways, so yeah, that's something to keep in mind on the front of the ship as well. It may like even need for the the purist who has to get it exactly right. There may need to be more fill even on the front of this the bow of the ship. So, anyways, all right. I think that does it for my little foray into actual model making. I hope some of you have been amused by this. And now we will continue with the rest of this unboxing slash preview slash build review slash.
All right, so if you've made it through this much of the review, you're a diehard. Congratulations. Or if you skipped ahead to the conclusion area, then this is the conclusion on the kit. And a couple of important things to note. There was a 1943 Scharnhorst release in 2010, so that kit is out there as well. Of course, that's going to be the 1943 configuration where it's been updated, and this is the 1941 version of the ship. Now, the ship was launched, and as we noted in the intro, 1939. So I'm guessing there probably were a couple of refits in this time period. And again, I didn't go into the history that much. I am not a World War II German ship history, aficionado. So there are people out there who know all these details. I am not one of those people. Seek out those people if you want to know details. But with the other release that came out in 2010, this is basically a similar release, probably an updated general kit to that release. With some new slide molding parts, and although I believe that kit was a smart kit as well, so probably did have some slide molded parts, because that's kind of what Dragon means by smart kit, by the way, if you don't know that. All right, so this kit though, the hull obviously, which probably has not changed again from that other release, is a little tricky and probably will require, as I noted, some stuff. But otherwise, I think you're looking at a pretty good offering overall for ship lovers and people who want to build the Scharnhorst. I certainly am going to keep it as a side project and maybe kind of work on it as time permits. So maybe in 5 years or so, you will see a completed kit. No, I'm being a little bit, hopefully I'm being a little bit silly about that. But I think I can definitely, now once I get through the hull, it's they're not that complicated until you get down to the real nitty-gritty of the rigging and the photo etch and stuff. But otherwise, the major plastic parts aren't that difficult to go together. And there's a lot of great detail on this kit, and it's certainly a beautiful ship. So, and that said, I think it's something I'd like to build. That's why I've kept it. All right. So yeah.
more to say about it that I haven't said in 35 minutes. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I would recommend the kit. So let's put it that way, and let's just leave it at that. I'd like to thank Dragon USA for providing us this sample, and my apologies for the unboxing review and slash a little bit of a build to take this long, but yeah, sometimes these things happen. And if you have any comments, suggestions, questions, or whatever, throw them out there in the comments section. Make sure if you like this video to give us a like, and if you're listening to this, you must have liked it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have watched it all the way to this point, right? And these videos take a long time to produce. I can tell you quite honestly. This is Saturday, and I've been here for 5 hours working on this thing. So yeah, it takes a while. And we will see you next time on Cracking the Box, or whatever this version of the video is going to be. So thanks again. We'll see you next time.